What's up, guys? He's done 38,000 in sales this year, selling CDs, DVDs, and board games. A lot of thrifting. Welcome to the Amazon Savages podcast, Jeremy.
Welcome to the Amazon Savages podcast. Hear the stories of Amazon sellers crushing it in the game and keep up with the latest strategies that are working. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you truly try and work really hard, you will make a ridiculous amount of money selling on Amazon.
All right. So if you want to take a step back and kind of tell us like how you got started doing all this and then what strategies allowed you to like get your first profitable flips.
So I started during the pandemic. I started doing eBay mostly, flipping eBay. I hadn't touched Amazon. I had lived near a Nike factory, an outlet.
Okay.
So I flipped some shoes. I had to go get a pair for myself and
Nice.
a couple more to pay for it. And then the pandemic, my full-time job went no time. So I figured it was a good time to start thrifting and seeing what I could do to make some income.
Yeah.
And it kind of just took on a life of its own. I was doing pretty well. And then
Did you get any like the dumbbells or anything crazy like that during the pandemic? Mask, Germex?
Not really, honestly. Mostly
That was a crazy time, man. So much money was to be made during
Yeah.
COVID.
I was pretty new during COVID. So it kind of started with watching a lot of videos, and then it turned into a lucky thrift trip where I found a lot of really profitable GameCube games.
Mm-hmm.
So then once that started working, I got really into it. And then the more and more I researched and watched, I figured I'm wasting so much time prepping and taking pictures and all this and watching a lot of Steve's videos, who I've been following for a while. I was like, let me give the Amazon thing a shot. And I started in February of this year.
Nice. And it's interesting you don't do a lot of books, you said.
Yeah, rarely do books. I've maybe done like 10 books.
But you do a lot of CDs and DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
What's the thought process behind that?
So my background, when I was younger, I worked in a used CD and DVD store.
Okay.
In New York. So I have a pretty good knowledge. We used to buy things that he sold on Amazon, my boss. We had a bricks and mortar store, and then we used to do a lot of Amazon orders. So pretty knowledgeable with what to look out for. And then I also worked in the music industry before the pandemic full time. So I'm pretty like in on what could or could not make a profit. And it kind of is easier for me to find things instead of just scanning everything. I knew like what to skim over.
Mm-hmm. So when you're scanning CDs and DVDs, there's probably books nearby, right?
Yeah, ton.
But you're just like, I don't want to deal with those.
It's just already so much time and so much work.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I would love to, but there's probably 20 times the amount of books as there are CDs and DVDs.
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to hit like 5-6 stores in a day, I have to kind of hone in on my time.
Yeah. What's your strategy look like for CDs and DVDs? What app are you using, and what kind of triggers do you have set up?
I'm using Scoutly.
Everyone says that, so guilty when they say it.
I know. It's like the lesser, the redheaded stepchild. But yeah, I'm using Scoutly. I have my triggers set up. I had a problem where I was buying a lot of like the lower profit stuff, and just getting more volume of it. Now I'm trying to not take a profit under, like 5 to 10 for something. But sometimes you get caught in the trap where like, all right, I already got $20 profit on this, 30 here. What's another $3-4, $2 on this one if I'm already buying it? So
do you know what your average sales price is for CDs and DVDs?
Not sure. It's all over the place.
I've
had some that.
You know how many units you've sold? Because you've done 4,000 in sales. If you told
this month, I've probably sold close to 250 or 200.
Oh wow, your average sales price is solid then. Let's see.
Maybe 230, I think it was. Let me double check. I have on the app.
16-ish. If you sold 230, $16 to $17 ASP. That's pretty healthy for CDs.
I sold 230 in the last 30 days, and my sales are at about 4,600.
Mm-hmm. So what are your strategies? Like, are you just hitting up thrift stores? Are you hitting up libraries too?
Just pretty much thrift stores. I'll take a trip maybe once or twice a week if I have the time. And I'll make a whole day of it where I'll hit like between 5, 6, 7, 8 stores in a day. Go on like a Monday, Wednesday when they're big sale days. There are 2 thrift stores here that have pretty much half the stores 50% off on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a Wednesday, I'll take like a 10-hour day, go thrifting, because it's like an hour and a half drive each way for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
gotcha. What advice would you give to yourself starting out in order to like, now you've done 4,000 in sales last 30 days. What few tips would you give yourself to allow yourself to get to that point? Like maybe you're doing some things you shouldn't have been doing starting out, or maybe there's a few things that you should have been doing that you're doing now that you weren't doing back then.
I'd say that I should definitely stop taking the DVDs and CDs that are $2 to $3 profit every time, because when lower competition comes in and I'm repricing, if I'm making $1, it's not really worth the time and money. And I definitely bookkeeping and staying more organized with my time is key. I think that's the one thing that's inhibiting me from getting further is time management.
Mm-hmm. Right. What about in terms of like types of CDs, DVDs, like Blu-ray versus, regular DVDs, and CDs versus like newer and older? Like, do you have any like tips on what types of niches to go after?
It's not really black and white, but definitely the more popular stuff is pretty worthless. And CDs and DVDs, like the common titles for the most part, unless you're finding a rare special edition. But new sealed is always a much higher markup for the most part. You would think box sets logically would make more money, but there are some box sets selling lower than movies. So there's not really a specific niche. I just try to look out now for more of the newer items. I feel like returns are also lesser when it's a newer item as opposed to pre-owned.
Right. Yeah. Returns on new items do suck because then it's used, Yeah.
Returns are way too high.
Are you how'd you get ungated?
I sold a couple things during the pandemic on Amazon, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing mostly eBay. Just threw a couple board games up on there and I was already auto ungated.
Nice.
So I think because I made a couple sales, once everyone started coming in and they were getting stricter, I was able to sell in certain categories. And the ones that I wasn't, I did Christian books or Target.
Right. Yeah. For everyone watching, I'll show it real quick. You guys can go to christianbook.com right here and buy 10 units of any CD or DVD. Doesn't matter the price. There used to be a myth that you had to buy a DVD over $25. So I actually bought 10 DVDs for $40 when I got ungated. So I paid $400 to get ungated in DVDs. And honestly, it was probably just some YouTuber saying that to like create more barrier to entry. But you can literally buy a $2 DVD and get ungated in DVDs. Just make sure you buy 10. Make sure your address matches your Amazon account address. That'll get you ungated pretty quickly.
Yeah. That hurt me the first time because I didn't have it match my address where my business was set up. I had it matching where I'm currently living. So I had to do 2 orders.
Okay.
I ordered DVDs and it wouldn't ungate me because the addresses didn't work out.
Yeah.
So then I went to go get ungated in Lego through Christian Book 2, and I just ordered some more DVDs from there.
Yeah. Don't necessarily do this, guys, but I've actually changed my address. Like when I was getting ungated one time, I accidentally sent it to my prep center, and I'm like, shit, I just ordered 10 units. And I just changed my address on Amazon temporarily, like literally for like 15 minutes, and it worked. So, but
it's a good workaround.
I'm not the best person at following Amazon's rules, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Okay, so 4,000 sales. You're probably operating at like a 30-40% margin on that?
Maybe a little lower, probably like in the 20 to 25%.
Okay.
Just because I made a lot of bad purchases early on.
Gotcha.
I've really only been doing Amazon for like 9 months now, maybe.
Yep.
Since I got started. So that definitely the first few months I was just, buying any and everything that had a $2, $3 profit. So the margins for a while were lower, and now I'm getting a little more savvy with what I purchase.
What are your goals for 2024?
I would love to break 6 figures at least. And I would like to put in more time. It's finding more of a method and an outline to be more consistent with doing it. So this way I could hit those goals. Some weeks I'm working at this, 30 hours a week, and then I don't touch it for 2 weeks. So just getting more consistent is definitely a big goal to hit that 6 figures.
Have you thought about doing eBay to Amazon at all?
Yeah. I actually signed up for the course a long time ago, but
nice.
never actually began it. I paid for the whole thing. I get the emails every day. I'm on like day like
Yeah.
200 something, and I'm like, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, I bought one or two things off eBay to flip that I knew sold well because I found them at the thrift. But
Mhm.
other than that, it's just been a time thing.
Yeah. Once you get something working on Amazon, it's hard to change your strategy. Like if thrifting's working for you, or I have a wholesaler right now that has really good product, making a lot of money from it, it's hard to like get motivated to do something else, because if you put effort in the thing that's working, it's just going to continue to work.
Yeah,
But for something new, you probably are going to fuck it up a little bit before
100%.
you actually make the
I've already
profit.
fucked this up so many times. It puts so much time and effort to getting this system down.
Yep.
That in order to do the new system, I'm going to have to take away from what I'm already doing, and I'm like, I can't really afford to do that right now. I don't have that time to
Yeah.
jump into something new just yet.
Yeah. What's your at-home setup look like? Do you have like a goal of shipping out X number of boxes? Like what's your workspace look like? How are you processing your stuff?
This is more or less my workspace. It's a little office room in here. I got like my Rolo and my scanner and my scale and boxes all over here. I got, products like on the floor here that I just bought in the last few days, bags that I have to go through. I sit here, scan them in, and I basically, every time I do a week's worth of trip, I try to get them all out. So I'll ship out, about 100 units on average per box, and I try
Nice.
to do at least one shipment a week if possible.
And are you getting a lot of splits?
Not too bad anymore. I had a while where it was, but if I get a split and it's a few things, I'll just take them out and save them for the next batch and hope that it goes to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Because the splits lately, if I get a split, it's like one thing of 10 units and then like 98 to the other, which is not, it's worth it at that point.
Yeah. Have you ever used box contents on GoToLister?
Every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So are you doing the add everything to one box then at the end most times?
Pretty much. I have to see how much room I have for things based on the boxes I have.
Yep.
So I go through it individually because I've definitely miscounted a couple times. So when I do that, I go through everything again just to make sure I didn't miss. But sometimes if it's one shipment and I can fit it and it's not over 50 pounds, great. But if I'm shipping half board games, half CDs, DVDs, I'll add a second box or even a third box if need be.
Heck yeah. Guys, remember this podcast is sponsored by GoToLister. Attention Amazon FBA booksellers. I used to hate listing books on Amazon because of how long it took, but GoToLister has fixed that. GoToLister allows me to scan, label, and ship 100 plus books per hour. It's the fastest listing software that exists for Amazon sellers. Listing fast allows me to spend more time finding profitable inventory rather than listing all day. One of the best things about GoToLister is our intelligent pricing feature that automatically prices your faster selling items at higher prices. Click the link below to give GoToLister a free trial for 14 days. Boom. That's my new YouTube ad for that. But yeah, it's not just for books. Obviously, Jeremy's using it for CDs, DVDs, and board games too.
Smart pricing is great too.
Yeah.
On there. It's a great feature that definitely helps speed up a lot of things compared to when I use other listers.
Mm-hmm. Are you paying attention to the no FBA offer notifications?
Every time, because it usually defaults to 300. So then I go into Keepa, do the research, and check where to put it.
There's so much money to be had with those books or CDs. Like whatever item you're listing, if there's no FBA offers, you can price it 20% higher and get the sale.
Until Amazon comes down on you and telling you. Yeah. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense.
Yep. Yeah, the high pricing errors are a bitch.
Even with certain products that I have listed for like $15 that have historically sold for $30, there sometimes will be like too high.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they have some type of algorithm that it's so weird because it's not their product. So they want to sell items cheaper. And so since like 60% of their sales or maybe even more come from third-party sellers like us, they're just like, oh, let's limit our APIs. Let's limit the information we give to repricers. So everybody's forced to price lower. And they get in trouble for price gouging. Like during 2020, Germex, dumbbells, everything was selling like way above, like 10x what it should have been selling for. And so the Supreme Court's looking at them and they're like, hey, your prices are way too high. But what they have to realize is like it's literally just a marketplace, and it has sellers that are competing against each other for sales. So Amazon's not doing shit. Like Amazon's actually making it harder for us to price items higher.
Yeah.
But
And most people don't know that. They just
yeah,
think everything comes from Amazon, and that's it.
yeah, yeah. And so yeah, that part does suck, but you just got to reprice at low prices. What's your repricing look like? What's your repricing setup for CDs and DVDs?
So I use Be Cool.
Nice.
I use some of the AI stuff, which is pretty cool. But I follow a lot of Joji's parameters that he uses for
Okay.
books, similar for like the condition, the age rules.
Yep.
To compete based on how long it's been in my inventory and just trying to make up whatever I can. But other than that, I mean, for the most part, the rest of the products are pretty well moving that I pick up, or they're very few in supply, so they don't sit around too long,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice. Hopefully, I mean, especially early on, I definitely bought a lot of things that have just been sitting there, and I'm just trying to liquidate them. But for the newer stuff, it hasn't been as much of an issue. The repricer has just been getting the sales pretty quickly.
Nice. Are you noticing Be Cool's pricing at a premium for you? Like, do you get sales like, oh, I didn't realize I was going to sell that for that much? Like maybe you listed it at 18.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. I just sold a board game today, actually, that I bought for I think $2 or $3 that it sold for used. That sold for like $70.
Nice.
I thought I was gonna maybe get like 40, 30 for it, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just shot some videos with Be Cool. We just set up like all these repricing templates, so that'll be coming out on my channel in the next month or so.
Right.
But they're really good over there.
Yeah,
Super simple user interface.
It'd be tricky to set up the parameters if you like don't know what you're doing at all.
Yeah, any repricer is, but Be Cool is definitely simpler than a lot out there. Like right now, I'm recommending Channel Max to everyone, and it's been great for me, but it's definitely not easy to set up.
That's why I like their AI stuff, because it just made it easy to get going and then do the research. So like once I had it, I didn't have to worry about just paying for the program and not knowing what I was doing. It gave me like enough time to research to set it up.
Mm-hmm. AI just sounds so cool and sophisticated.
Yeah, until it blows up in your face.
Yeah.
Not literally, but also could be literally.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy to think. Like, I always like to think, what would Elon Musk do if he was an Amazon seller or a bookseller? Like, how would he operate in this space? And he would probably make some like crazy AI sourcing tool that would just find, like, we're doing eBay to Amazon or Walmart to Amazon or Kohl's.com to Amazon, or even like in a bookstore, you have all the books and the spines are showing, like some type of AI that could just scan all the spines at once, tell you, hey, there's these 10 books that are good, pull them off the shelf. We already have like tactical arbitrage and tools like that, but I feel like if somebody like Elon Musk came in, they would just absolutely dominate.
Yeah,
and find a way to do it.
All in one tool.
Yeah. They find a way to do it where they don't have to spend a lot of their money. Like kind of like almost like a drop shipping model would probably be how you would scale the fastest. But yeah.
Yeah, he's always up to something crazy.
Yeah. You think he's gonna make it to Mars?
No, not anytime soon. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. I heard him on you know who Alex Jones is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That guy's crazy, but
He see him and Howard Stern go at it all the time.
Yeah, he was Alex Jones, and it was Andrew Tate, Alex Jones, and Elon Musk. And Elon was like, we can't be like the only planet that doesn't make it outside of their planet. You just imagine how embarrassing that would be. Like when you find out all the other like life forms have made it to the other planets and they've traveled, but we're still stuck on Earth. Like how low IQ is that? And from that perspective, it kind of changes things. A lot of people are scared of it, but
yeah, I mean, it's just and it's inevitable at this point. Eventually we're gonna get there, figure it out, but who knows how long it's gonna take.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get there for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully in this lifetime.
Yeah, be cool to see. So, what other tips do you have for complete beginners? People watching this, they probably watched a few of my other podcasts. They're seeing you do CDs, DVDs, board games. Do you have tips for finding board games? What kind of methods are you using for that?
Just anything, same kind of rule applies across the board for me. If you see anything that you haven't seen before, looks interesting, that is not something super common, or it's something common and it's a version you haven't seen before, check it out. See if it's something that's worth value, because sometimes these limited edition versions of games, like even a life game or a Monopoly game, could be worth a lot of money. But if it's just
Mhm.
a regular Monopoly, or something like a Family Feud game that's pretty common, they're not usually worth that much unless they're new sealed.
Mhm.
So I'd say just look out for things that look odd to you, if that makes
And
sense.
how are you looking at the board games?
Through Amazon. I'm
Okay.
using, I have my scanner that I bring with me, scan the barcode. If it doesn't work, scan the picture. And sometimes I'll also check up on eBay to see if it works as well, but I don't really list on eBay much anymore.
Gotcha. And are you looking at keepographs too?
Yeah, depending on the thing. For the most part, if I see how much is in stock when I scan it and the rank, I'm looking at the rank on Amazon. If it's a board game that's ranked like 400,000, but there's only one in stock and it looks to sell at a pretty decent price, if I'm only paying a few dollars, I'll take the risk as opposed to going through all the research, because sometimes the loss is inconsequential versus the time.
Mhm. Right. What do you think a common myth is about selling on Amazon?
That it's hard. I mean, there are definitely loopholes that make it more difficult. That makes sense, but it's not that hard to get started. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of time. You don't need to live near a ton of thrift stores. You could find places to source, and if you could get ungated and just do your research, you can start your business with $100,
Mhm.
and 5 hours a week.
Mhm.
I think that the difficulty of it is exaggerated, but there's a big learning curve.
Yeah. Do you have any aspirations to go to wholesale? Or I know you've already talked a little bit about eBay to Amazon, but where do you see yourself in like 5 years with this?
I would love to move into this full time. It's hard to find the time now, just doing work, also like
Mhm.
working a job as well. Um, for me, I would love to just see Scott, like wherever it takes me, it takes me. I would like to just keep growing and growing and growing, and I'll tackle each chapter as I get there. I'm open to wholesale. I'm open to doing pallets, things of that nature. But living in New York City, obviously, you don't have a lot of space. I have 3 storage units, which are small, and those run quite a bit of money.
What are you keeping in there?
Just product that I can't fit in here, basically.
You have that much?
Yeah, I have a lot of like my eBay stuff,
Okay.
and also, New York City apartments, the size of them versus the cost of them.
Yeah.
It's, living in like a, 900
So you
square
have a
foot.
lot of your like personal stuff in there too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Some personal stuff, because sharing an apartment with, my girlfriend and our dog, and there's only so much I'm allowed to keep here.
Yeah. Well, how much are your eBay sales up to?
I probably do about 1,000 a month. I
Okay.
don't think I've listed anything in like 4 months on eBay. Still get a couple sales a week. I would like to start going back to that, but I'm really focused on Amazon right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you're cranking out 4,000, just
Yeah,
stay at it. Pretty soon that 4,000 will be 40.
yeah. I
It'll be
hit
100.
10,000 at one point during the summer. Like when I
Nice.
was in once I got started, I really got in a rhythm, and then I had an injury, so I kind of had to stop for a couple months and just whatever
Mhm.
was there deal with. And now I'm picking it up again. So I'm hoping to get back to the 9-10,000 a month that I was able to do when the summer began.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. So your biggest limiter is your time,
Yeah,
like being able to go out and physically source.
yeah. I work mostly nights, so to be working, 4 or 5 nights a week. And also sometimes during the day, it's hard to, wake up early, drive an hour and a half, beat everyone to, get the good products, go from store to store to store. Because the nearest like hub of really good thrift stores by me is probably like about 45 minutes to an hour with no traffic. But if you're trying to get there when the store opens, it takes, an hour and a half to get there. And then, 10 minutes to the next store, 10 minutes to the next
So
store.
do you have thrift stores near you that just aren't that good?
They're just so overpriced.
Gotcha.
You walk in there and they're selling, a crappy Kohl's t-shirt for like $20. It's New York City prices. I have a couple in my town here in Queens that are walkable. I check them out once in a while. I'll find a couple good CDs, DVDs, but for the most part, I'm not paying $8, $9 for a box set. There's no way.
Are you getting like backroom access at any of these thrift stores?
Not really. I've had
Have you asked?
Yeah, they're
Bring them some coffee.
Yeah, right. These thrift stores are the ones near me aren't really like the type of place where you need the backroom access. Their product's not that good. The ones further out, there's so much competition, and I can only get there so frequently. So I'm not there enough to be able to.
Do you know when they restock, or when you go in, do you at least know what tags are the freshest? Like, do they put like blue tags for like inventory that was just put out?
It's whatever is not on sale that week.
Okay.
So whatever is going to be the sale that day or the sale that week, the fresh stuff, the other colors.
Gotcha.
So, but people leave a lot of good stuff behind. They have the dates on them, and I'll find things. I found a DVD the other day that had like a $90 profit that had been sitting there for a week and a half, and it had pretty good sell-through rate. So I think there's not as much competition for what I'm doing in some of those stores. A lot of the people are doing eBay, and it's you can find these for $20 on eBay.
Yeah. Do you have a sales rank range you stay below for CDs and DVDs? And are they different for each category?
So it really depends on how much is in stock or the sales rank, or I mean how much sales data there is. But typically I like to stay for CDs, DVDs below like 150 to 200,000. I know they say 100,000, but I found it to not be completely accurate, because I found things at 3, 4, 5, 600,000 that have sold quickly. It's just because it's been out of stock, or there's been one on there that's used, that's an FBM seller that's not getting the buy box. So I kind of rule of thumb, the 150 range for CDs and DVDs, but I will go higher if there's not any FBA offers and it seems to sell, even if it hasn't sold in a while. Like I bought something the other day that was probably 500 something thousand rank, and it sold within a week for like a $60 profit.
Nice. Do you ever mess with textbooks?
Just a couple. It's just I'm definitely open to doing that, to getting more into books. It's just I don't know enough about books. Anytime I've scanned them, I feel like I'm wasting a lot of my time.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not knowledgeable enough. I know about what to look for.
It's so interesting. Like, most people are the exact opposite of you, but I feel like it leaves a lot of room for opportunity in the CD and DVD category, because people are intimidated. They're like, oh, I don't know if it's counterfeit. I don't know how to clean these. I don't know, like, what if the case is cracked? The sales rank ranges are less, so it seems like they're better. You're like, oh, this DVD has a 200,000 sales rank, but that could be really crappy. It could never sell. But
yeah, there's a guy who I see pretty frequently when I go out to some of these stores. He does FBA also. He does mostly books. He'll be scanning the books. I'll be scanning the DVDs next to each other, chatting up. And he can do DVDs and CDs, and he did for a little, but he got a counterfeit complaint. So now he's scared. He won't. So that's how I feel. I am, I guess, the anomaly with that. I'm just very more well-versed in DVDs and CDs. I know what to look out for counterfeit. I know condition-wise what to look out for. I know more products. So I think that kind of gives me, even with all the competition, a little bit more wiggle room to find better products. And there's less to scan through, where the book sections are massive in all these places. And the markups on the books are getting insane out here.
Really?
Yes, some textbooks, $15, $20, $30.
Yeah, because they know how much they can sell them for.
Yeah, and sometimes they're wrong. I'll find
Yeah,
things.
a lot of times they are.
I'll find things in the glass case that they're selling for
Yeah.
15 that are
Dude,
worth.
those are always so funny. I go to library sales and like the old women they'll put like an old antique type book and they'll put $400 on it. And I'll look it up on Amazon. It'll be like $2.
Uh-huh. I think
And the reason why they put it 400 is like it's on like a Books or a Libris for 400, and they're like, nope, on this website here. And I'm like, bitch, it's going for $2 on
like,
Amazon.
please keep that behind the glass case and keep putting out the good products.
Like I will sell one to you for 200. Give me a week. I'll purchase it on Amazon. I'll come back. If it's really worth 400, then take it. That's a whole nother hustle. Like so when I started my business, I would actually sell my friends' textbooks in college for them and then pay them 50% of the profit. That was like 7-8 years ago, maybe even more, 8 years ago. And one of my friends, he was like, you're only offering me $10 for this book. The bookstore is offering me 30. I'm like, are you serious? Because I had just bought 3 of those books for $10 from other students. And so then I took the 3 books that I bought for $10 to the bookstore, sold them for $90 to the bookstore immediately. So I flipped books from college students and I think I actually purchased 1 or 2 on Amazon for like $15 and then sold it to the college bookstore for 30.
It's a good hustle to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
ways to
stores pay nothing. That's how I learned when I worked at that CD store, DVD store. We paid he had a price range. Like if it sells for this much on Amazon, between this and this, pay a quarter. If it sells for this and this, offer $2, offer $3. And that's
Are there any good bookstores or thrift stores that offer cash for books or CDs or DVDs up there?
No, but they give you coupons if you trade in. Like we have a couple savers, 20% coupon. I'll take a lot of the junk that I'm like, that was a bad buy. I'll give it right back to them, 20% off my next purchase.
Nice. So if you just donate anything, you get 20% off your whole purchase?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. And you get, and with the points that come in per purchase, it's every $100, you get another 20% off coupon in your account for the savers one. So,
right.
I have to.
Savers still cover up all the barcodes with their barcodes?
Sometimes.
That's what I hated about going to Connecticut with Steve. Yeah. We used to go up there and thrift, and it's like you either have to peel them off like an asshole or scan the cover.
It's easier with the DVDs because you can just open the case if it's not sealed, and you could just lift it and scan. Or a lot of people peel the whole thing off. So they did. Some of these thrift stores are real bad with it. Everything's covered, and then some of them it's very, very few are covered.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of random. I had some savers that were doing it for a while. Now they're not. One savers is, but the savers 10 minutes away isn't. It's a crapshoot. Right.
The good news is if there's stickers, that means they likely haven't been scanned. Like that's the good part of it. So thanks for coming on, man. Where can they find you at? I guess you're in the Go-To Lister Facebook group. Can they ask you questions there?
I am in the Go-To Lister Facebook group. I'm in the chat also. I have the chat notifications on. Find me there. If you want to add me on Instagram, you can add me.
What's your IG?
It's Jaydefiance, JAYDEFIANCE.
Okay, sweet.
I'm awesome. A DJ. That's my job. So I have my own entertainment company. So hence that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember, this podcast is made possible not only by Go-To Lister, but also by Restricted Inventory.
Grind hard, well done, sir. And welcome to the freaking Well Show.
And we just recently updated our payout structure. So if you send us a textbook and it sells for $100 profit, you keep 80. We only keep 20. The most we'll ever keep is $20. So going into 2024, even if you send stuff now and it sells before the end of the year, we never keep more than $20. So send us $1,000 profit book. We keep 20. You keep 900, and what would that be? $980. So restrictedinventory.com. Much love, man. Thanks for coming on, and talk soon.
Talk soon.